Okay, testing 1, 2. Is the sound coming through the room okay?
Hold on.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
It's a bit quiet.
Okay, let me check my microphone settings. It should be up full.
Supposed to be, but through the room it's quiet.
Right. Let me go to recording here. The levels are up full. Okay, hopefully everybody can hear us. Right, okay, first I'll go ahead and play the small tune that I play, then I'll go ahead and fire into the latest computer tech news, couple of minutes, and then don't worry whether there's anybody in the room or not, because it's being recorded and it will be posted to YouTube and everywhere else this week. People will probably pop in as they go along. Right, okay, I'm going to start in a second. Just so you don't get a feedback on your Skype, I'll mute my mic and then I'll unmute it and give you the... I'll type in the chat room over to you and then you just carry on. I'll mute my mic so you don't get a feedback on the Skype, but keep yours on because we'll need it.
Yeah, okay.
Steve, you need to mute the room, mute the sound in the room.
Okay.
We're going to get a feedback. Just
yeah.
okay, just mute the sound in the room, mate. That's it. And leave your Skype on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay now. There was an echo in the room there. It's just Steve had the room muted, but it's muted now, so the echo sorted out. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's basically just say to anybody that's going to be listening to this video, it is being recorded, or anybody that's listening in Blog TV. I'd like to welcome you to the room. This is our computer social room, where we talk about technology, and we also talk about many other different subjects and topics. It's also a room where we exchange views and where we can help other people, and it's also a place where we can learn a wee bit more knowledge from other people that do come in and out of the room. So hello to Charlie, Steve, Stacey and Liquid Silver, and thank you again for your support. We are running a bit late tonight. I apologise due to a few technical problems. Sometimes when you try to plan something, it just doesn't work sometimes the way you want it. So I'm going to dive ahead here into the tech news. I'll not be bore you too much. I'll not bore you too much with too much tech news, but there is a wee bit has been happening this last week. Good afternoon, Charlie. Okay, so let me fire up this other browser over here and let's have a look at what's going on. Let me beat this other speaker so we don't get feedback. Okay, before we carry on with the tech news, last week, or the last fortnight, Uncle Charlie asked about how do you make a bootable Windows CD. We did post a couple of links, but unfortunately Charlie had left the chat room at that time. There was a couple of programs that you can use to make a bootable CD, but I believe Liquid Silver did type in a couple of different programs that you could use. If you could do that again for me, it would be very much appreciated. Also, I believe that your CD-ROM would probably not be big enough to make a bootable Windows XP CD. There was also another chap that was looking at computer help, and I will get back to him as he hasn't logged into the room. So if Liquid Silver doesn't mind posting that link for Charlie, if he hasn't got it sorted out, it would be appreciated. Okay, to start off with the tech news, we all know that Windows 8 is coming out this month, okay, and it's a new operating system that Microsoft have designed. Personally, I have tested it myself, the 32-bit version of the customer preview and the 64-bit. What I can say about Windows 8, just by testing it over a couple of months myself, that there was a few problems with some of the hardware, but I would imagine that Microsoft would probably have that sorted out in their final release, which will be out this month. Like every new operating system that comes out, welcome to the room. For every new operating system that comes out, obviously there will be flaws and bugs and performance issues from time to time. That's to be expected. No operating system has yet been designed that hasn't been perfect the first time. Even when the Mac OS LAN came out, there was a couple of problems with it, but Apple has got that sorted up to now. When Linux is released, or Linux distros come out for the first time, there's usually a few problems, and it takes a while to bed down. So that's something to keep in mind if you are thinking of switching to Windows 8. Now, Windows 8 stores login passwords in plain text. That has been a security bulletin that has been released this last week, and on October the 12th 2012 it says Windows 8 stores login passwords in plain text, and it's supposed to be Windows 8 is supposed to be Microsoft's most secure OS up to date. Already faces issues with the way it stores passwords for local accounts. Okay, so that seems to be a small problem that has come up at the minute, reference Windows 8 computers. The German police, a Big Brother, are on Skype, Hotmail, Gmail and Facebook. German police are illegally monitoring Skype, Gmail, MSN, Hotmail and Facebook chat, according to the report detailing the Federal Minister of Home Affairs expenses since 2002. More than €7 million have been spent on external service systems, and telecommunication systems. Money is spent on Trojan viruses and etc. But we all know that from time to time Big Brother does monitor the network. We know that in the United States recently they passed legislation that the government can monitor our systems. We know that our internet service providers are monitoring our systems from time to time. So we're now being faced with different countries in the world that are using technology to their advantage to monitor your Skype calls and etc. There is posted on October the 10th, 2012, cyber attack on Capital One places United States banks on alert. Basically, Capital One Financial Corporation announced they were being targeted by a series of cyber attacks that may have been intimidated by a cyber fighters group. The bank said it experienced a serious intimidated issues with their website due to a possible dental of service attack. A dental of service attack basically is a system being flooded with data, and it basically can't cope with the amount of data, it crashes. Okay, you have the DDoS attacks, you have the basic dental DOS service attack, which can be used in many different ways by using a botnet or command lines, programs, and etc. Canada, October the 10th, throws national security expectation in building a communication network. Also, we move on to the mobile phones, which also come across cyber crime from time to time. The Android itself, Info Stealer, posed as a Japanese phone book app. So basically, it looks like a Japanese phone book app. And Bitdefender Labs recently analysed an Android app that collects your location, your device IDs, your email addresses, and more. Okay, so be careful, friends, if you are downloading the Android apps. I personally try to stick with the Play Store or the App Store itself. I try not to download third parties, ones that aren't basically being kept an eye on, because that can also leave you open. There is a new variant of a DESTTOP which buries itself into the hard drive to evade of being caught out dictation. And basically what they're saying is it's a rootkit. A DESTTOP rootkit appears to be back with a blast. According to news reports from network monitoring specialists, the new variant has been isolated yet in the binary form, but rather has its presence in the network nodes. Okay, so apparently this rootkit DESTTOP has been out for quite a long time. That is correct, Tom. That is correct. Okay, friends. So cybercrime, as we all know, comes out every day in the week. Sometimes the tech chat rooms, sometimes the tech websites, hotforsecurity.com, securityfocus.com, and plenty of other websites. Sometimes the guys are able to get information on a threat, but there's also quite a number that we don't know of. Okay, so the security cyber goes on and on, friends. It's just a matter of using your head, being a wee bit sensible when you use the internet. Basically, don't be tempted to click on links you don't recognise. If someone asks you to look at something and you don't know them, then obviously think about it before you do it. There's a number of ways that you can be tricked into it, and this is for the viewers that don't know or don't understand. Don't think because you put an antivirus program on your computer that you are 100% protected. You can have the best security on your MacBook, your Linux, or your Windows computer, and you only have to click on an email and open an attachment or do something simple to mess yourself up. Facebook is having a few problems at the minute again, and some of the Twitter social networking sites. Okay, so I was checking out Bitdefender website just to find out what the latest malicious code, or some people call it viruses, trojans and etc. exploits I call them. And the security companies are basically monitoring this stuff 24/7 in the hoping that they can catch it, understand it and put it into their database, which then when we update our antivirus program it helps to protect us. Even my computer is not 100% secure, but we can only do our best not to get caught out. Okay, so let's move on to what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm just waiting on this coming up, and then I'm going to hand you over to Steve, who's in the chat room. Steve1166 has got certificates on building computers in that line of form. He has went back to school and he has got his level 3, so he's going to share his knowledge with us. And what we basically see in front of us is a desktop computer. You will notice that there's some components missing, as like what Silver has said, yes. So a few weeks ago we talked about how to put in a motherboard, and the videos were posted on the channel in the room here under the video section. So tonight he's basically going to talk about how to put a power supply unit in. In a few weeks he'll be showing us how to put a CPU in, or a processor, and he'll actually built a computer as he goes along. So I'm going to hand you over to Steve here and let Steve tell you exactly what he's going to do. Liquid Silver says, I even build another PC. I shall use the thermite case. Okay, so over to you, Steve. I'm just going to disappear here for 5 seconds, but the video's on you, and everybody should be able to hear you.
Yeah. Today, friends, I'm going to be talking to you and showing you how to install a 600 watt supply. Oh, I'm not sure it's not showing up.
It will show up, mate. It's just your, whenever you're moving it, you'll have to wait your cam catches it.
Oh. Yeah.
Just give it a second or two to focus in, basically.
Oh.
Bad sound, hold on.
Okay.
Right, we'll check this. Right, whenever you can leave your microphone sort of sitting back a wee bit, Steve, if you can, because it'll pick you up anyway, mate.
Alright, that's what I've done.
Right, okay, let me turn the sound down slightly. Right, okay. If you set your power supply unit into your, or lift it in your hand and put it in front of the camera for a second.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Alright, just give it a second or two to sort of zoom in to catch it until it. There's no rush, take your time, there's no rush. I'll go back in about 2 seconds.
And power supply. There you go. That's a 600 watt power supply. It has got a sticker on the side that tells you the various outputs as well. You will notice that also when putting this in, there's 2 little slots. You have to make sure you get that on that. Right.
If you could pull your, sorry mate for interrupting, if you could pull your camera slightly back a wee bit from you, it's a wee bit too close.
Oh. Hold on. I'll stick up on the desk if I can. Need to bring them around. Oh. Is that a better PC or?
Right, that's okay. Yeah, you can see the desktop unit there. It's just whenever you're putting in your power supply unit, if your camera's too close, it goes out of focus.
Yeah. Just checking something. Yeah, I think. Just trying to look at pause up. Also, just be careful because
Right.
there's a little plate on the bottom there, and it is touching this.
Nope.
That's okay.
Right.
Right.
For anybody that's just come into the room and is watching, what he's doing, Steve is actually doing, is going to install a power supply unit, okay, for your desktop computers. A power supply unit is necessarily for to make your computer function, to give your hard drives power, to give your system to be able to boot up, so your CD-ROMs can work and etc. For those that don't know what a power supply unit is.
I'm just putting the screws in the holes as we speak.
Right.
I'm a bit of trouble because this power supply has been a bit of a...
Well, some power supply units, when you order them, some fit in no problem. Others you have to make slight adjustments. By learning to put in a power supply unit, you not only save yourselves money. Obviously, you can go to a computer shop and do it yourself. You do need an anti-static wristband, which is recommended before you do it. Or you can put your hands on the tar box, unearth it to take a static out.
Good job you mentioned that actually, PC. I totally forgot about that.
You don't want to be putting your hands on the motherboard because if it's got static on it, you can fry your motherboard.
Yes.
Power supply units come in different sizes. It is wise to check up on the motherboard that you're going to install in your computer. If you are going to build a computer, to make sure that you get the power supply unit that is compatible with it.
Yes, and I will also point out it will tell you in the manual book that obviously it's also best to check, make sure also to ask a professional computer shop as well if you're not sure, but the minimum, well, for the motherboard that I've got in, the lowest I can go is 450 450 watt power supply, basically. Any lower than that, then this won't run.
Yeah. I bought a power supply unit a couple of weeks ago for a desktop computer, for a dual processor computer, and I bought a 750 watts. It come with a 350 watts, but the experts say that it is good to basically put in a couple of extra 100 watts if you're going to install one.
Yes, I have done that, Tex. Thanks for pointing out. Just done that just to obviously you've got to make sure that you get the right screws for the, which I'm having the difficulty in finding. Now, where the hell did I put my screw? Bear with me, guys, I am having some problems with the screws. Just don't want to get ones that over the top.
That is correct. Tax running get us just said. Any time, friends, that you are even thinking of going inside your computers, you want to make sure you ground yourself. Some of them say that you can put your hand on the metal plate there before you actually go into it. Others say it is recommended to use an anti-static wristband. As long as, like what Silver says, as long as you don't rub a balloon on your head.
I don't think some of us are that stupid, BC, but yeah, I know what you mean. So, having a bit of problems here, but trying to get the right screws.
Yeah. Sometimes I do things on computers that you're not supposed to do. Whenever I'm cleaning my computer out, sometimes I use the Hoover that you use for the house, but I wouldn't recommend it because you can damage your system.
Yes. Especially the processor.
Some people use a leaf. Some people use a leaf blower to blow their fans out, and etc.
Trying to get this mouse to set up. Oh, it's going to be one of them days today when nothing wants to go right for me.
Just take your time, though, so you'll be alright.
Oh.
The power supply unit there, you will notice that while Steve's sorting out the screws, you will notice that you have some cables there that come with it. One, Steve will explain, that clips into your motherboard. Some have a 12-pin connector and some have a 24-pin connector, depending on how old your computer is. You'll also see that you have a connector for your fan that goes in beside your fan there. You'll also notice that there's other connectors for your hard drive, and there's also power lead adapters for to connect to your CD-ROMs and DVD players. So we're just waiting on Steve getting the screws sorted out, and then he should be able to screw it in. Where you will see the gap there, where he has there, you'll see a few holes there at the gap at the back, and there's a few screws actually going there from the outside.
I'm just trying to find the right screws because I don't want to. That's why it's taking a lot longer than I thought.
Yep. While we're waiting, an indication that your power supply unit could be on its way out is Tag says welded in place. The only
I could do that text if I had a welder, but I haven't got one, so.
And the only thing is, if you did weld it in, then obviously you'd have a problem if you wanted to replace it.
Yeah.
I think you wouldn't want to be taking a hammer till it, you know.
I don't think the computer shop would be too happy if I done that as well. So, right, now I've got to try and get it back into the right place.
As I was saying, Steve's sorting out the screws and basically screwing the power supply unit in. There is an indication that your power supply unit can be on its way out on your desktop computer. And one indication is sometimes your desktop computer will start when you press the button, and sometimes it won't. Now, your computer fan can still go even though your power supply unit is on its way out. Some people can basically fire it up by doing a different few techniques on the motherboard, but obviously there's a lot of people who don't know how to do that.
You will notice when you're just putting it in on the back to make sure that it's tight, because you don't want to lift the tower up and then the whole power supply comes crashing down onto the processor and the motherboard and everything else and damages. There's also 4 screws to hold it in place.
So what watts is that power supply unit you're actually putting in at the minute?
It is a 600 watt power supply. It was recommended to me that I could have gone up to a 100, well, basically 1,000 watt power supply, but if I wanted to, but basically I'm not going to be using this for gaming, so there's not really any point really.
Right. Some people say they have an AGO in the room. I'll do my best to sort it out for you. It's basically XSplit broadcaster. When I'm trying to record it, the local record button, it seems to be causing a bit of an AGO.
Right, that's the power supply installed, as you can see. When I lift it up. Oh. Oops. A bit the bench back. Right. Just trying to work out where it was, how to do this. Right. Don't really need that one, so.
Have you any more light there, Steve? Texas saying. Have you?
Yes, I have got a light here, which hang on. Is that better?
Yes, that's it, mate. That's first class.
Right, I will have to move the camera closer to, because obviously I'm not going to be able to show you inside the. Whoops. 6. No. This plug. Ooh. This go. Right, I'm trying to. Right, this pin here is the 24 pin. There's a little block at the side where you can take it off to make it a 20 pin. Obviously, this one is a 24 pin motherboard, so it is recommended that you use it. Oh. Okay, now this is going to be a pain. I'm trying to get it off now.
So what you're going to do first is install the 24 pin and the connector into the motherboard itself.
Yes. I'm not going to get that little back on, but it's being a bit of a
Yep. Now, they will only go in one way, friends. You will notice on the side of the connectors, you do have a small plastic clip on it, so they will only go in one way. But don't force it, just take your time and slide it in slightly.
There is a little clip on the side. You will also notice that there is certain connections on the square is there's different shapes on there as well. I would also point out that you can use just a standard, if you can't afford to buy the power supply that has got the 8 pin on it, you can use just a standard 4 pin one, but you would have to buy the extra 8 pin connecting lead that connects onto 2 different Morbex cables, or the proper standard name for use cable wheels. Obviously you don't want to connect onto the same cable because you will not get the maximum power. So that's the 8 pin
Right, that's the one that goes into your, beside your fan, isn't it?
That's the one that's basically okay. That's the sort because the computer shop's giving me the wrong cable. It's only giving me the 6, not the 8.
Right, okay.
That's not a problem. I can sort that out another time. Obviously, the 8 pin goes where obviously you can't see it. Obviously, where my finger is, that is where the 8 pin connection. Oops. Yeah, I've got some. Just.
Your camera's going out of focus slightly here.
I need to get a better camera, I think, but it is a bit.
Aye. Maybe if you get a chance sometime, we'll look out for a tripod. Sometimes they're handy. But I'm trying to find one myself if I can, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one.
Sometimes the wee second-hand shops do tripods that somebody's left in, and it means you can sort of put it on a tripod and sort of point it in, whatever.
I think I've got one, but not for this camera. So.
Right, okay. So basically, Steve's connecting up the different connecting leads. 24 pin goes into the motherboard. Then you have a connector that goes into the side of your fan.
Obviously, you've got your Morbex connector there for the front fan. If you've got a fan on the front, then basically you connect that up to some more. Make sure that the yellow cable on the fan and the Morbex is basically in line with each other, the same as the red one, because obviously the cables only go one way. You have got other cables connections here, which is your 2 SATA connections. Obviously, if you've got like more than one hard drive, then you will have to have more than one connections, molecs.
Right. Steve, when you're showing the connectors, can you hold the connector for steady for about 1 or 2 minutes, just till the camera zooms in on the connector?
Yeah.
Just hold it there, mate, for a second. Now this one here that you're holding up, is that the one that goes into the hard drive?
Yeah, that goes into the hard drive, or you can either put it into the new DVD drivers, or you can also put it into the new SSD drivers as well now.
Right. And whenever you're putting if you have to use the one with the yellow cable on it, you always keep it to the outside when you're putting it onto your CD-ROM players. That's in the old type ones.
Obviously, you have got floppy disk on there, but they're not in use anymore, so that basically gets tied out that way. And obviously, I have got a spare Molex connection. Oh, I have got a spare Molex connection here. If I want to connect, obviously my side fan from the side panel, it's got a panel, so I will be connecting that up.
Right. Your camera's out of focus, mate, at the moment.
Oh.
Go ahead, Steve, and plug in the connectors wherever they have to go, whatever ones you can plug in, and then put your camera on it and let them see the connectors actually go to.
Well, basically, that's all I can do at the moment is, hold on.
I can maybe move the cam back a wee bit, that's it, that's better. It's starting to come into shape of it. Move it back a wee bit more, mate, or sort of out a wee bit from you, and just let it sort of sit for a second. That zooms in.
Just like, oh, there you go.
If you look at your computer screen, you'll see exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah, I can see it. It's really. I think this camera is due to go again. Oh. Doesn't help. I've got nerve tucked in my arms, so. Obviously, that's where the 24 pin.
Right.
If you can see. So where my finger is.
Right. So the 24. That's where the 24 pin goes there, friends. For anybody that doesn't know, it goes straight into the motherboard there. Now, some old computers have what they call a 20 pin connector. Is that correct?
Yes. Just put the camera down because I've got no traction on at the moment. There is another connection, obviously, some of the older side, like the AMD 2 model, they come with a 4-pin 12-volt connection as well, but this one's got an 8-pin, which I need to get a connection for. Just checking in the manual because I'm not too sure if that's...
Right. Tech says, wave your hand in the front of the cam and let it focus. Does your cam have an automatic focus on it, or?
No, it doesn't.
Right, okay, it doesn't. Right.
No, I'm not too sure.
Right. Some webcams come with an automatic focus button. Sometimes when you turn that off, it actually gives you a better view.
Yeah, I have got a button on the top, but I'm not too sure what it's for.
That's for taking photographs.
Oh, don't want to do that then.
No. That's for snapshots. The wee button on top of some of the webcams.
Alright, hold on. had it set up perfectly earlier, but
Alright, you can see the chart there anyway, but tax is right and can't you?
yeah, well, I can see. Basically, a plug-in play one. Basically,
What cam do you have, Steve? Look what Silver wants to know.
it's just basically an ordinary plug-in play cam. Basically, you just plug it in. And
Yeah, is it a Microsoft cam or is it a Taco?
no, it's it's a BCL webcam.
BC,
BCL webcam.
BCL webcam.
Yeah. I have got another webcam here somewhere, but that one in.
Right, I've never tested a BCL cam. I've never used one of them. I've used the Taco, the Microsoft on the QuickCam Pro.
Yeah, I do need to. Could be because I've got it connected into an external USB lead.
Right.
Getting a good quality, but that's as much as I can talk about as far as it comes to power supply at the moment.
Right. So let's basically let's go to let's see. Now let's sit there for a second.
It has obviously got a 120 mil fan in it, so it will give you the power that it needs.
Is it a 7.95 webcam you have, probably? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So just for the video purpose, friends, this is Steve1166 in the chat room, and he's building this computer as he goes along over the weeks because it takes time and money to get the parts. And basically, that's your power supply unit you see in front of you that he's installed. And Steve will tell you what watts it is. It does come with connectors. A 24-pin connector goes into your motherboard. It also comes with another connector that goes into your fan, beside your fan and your CPU, your processor. There will be a connector there which only goes in one way because there's a small plastic clip on it. You also have connectors here on the right, you can see, that go into your hard drive. And you'll also have a small red IED cables that go into the motherboard and also go into the hard drive for to connect up. When you're putting them in, friends, you have to be careful, because if you try to force them and you actually split them, well then you're in trouble. So I'm going to hand you back to Steve, and he's going to be watching the chat room. Anybody that wants to know what he's putting in, what size it is, or does need his help in the near future, it's maybe not too sure how to install a power supply unit on the desktop computer, I'm sure he'd be quite happy to help you.
Yes. I would also like to point out one vital, important part of installing this, and that is, do not, if you think that you can be clever and think because you haven't got a processor or the memory in at the moment, you think that you could connect all the cables, but plug it into the main power into the house to see if it works without a processor and the memory. My advice would be, well, if you've got Uncle Stupid written across your forehead, then go ahead, but my advice would be not to do it, because you will land up finding the motherboard completely.
So what you're basically saying is don't be tempted to put the electric to the power supply unit until you have the memory, the processor and everything else.
Yeah, basically until you've got all the other parts, and it is basically up to standard or near enough standard working capacity, basically, to obviously you don't want to turn it on when you've only got the memory in and find out that you turn it on and it goes back.
Right.
Because then you just wasted all that money.
Right, okay. When you were buying your power supply unit, obviously you checked with the motherboard you were putting in to see exactly how much power you could actually add to the computer. Would that be right? Or?
Yes.
Right.
Obviously, it does. I did check on that one menu, and it did say 450 watt minimum power, and I wasn't sure whether that was the only power supply I could put in, or whether I could go higher than that. And I did check at a local computer shop that I go to, and he said that I could go up as high as 12,000 watts, which is it would be ideal if you're using your computer for gaming and that, but if you're using it for just general use for like certain internet broadcasting on blog and socialising, then I would recommend that you stick to possibly between 500 to 850, or it's entirely up to the individual person and also the motherboard that you've got in at the time.
Right, okay. Right.
Obviously you do need to, obviously I've got a 6, I was going to put a 500 watt power supply in, but then obviously if I'm buying a bigger graphics 2 gigabytes graphics card, then obviously you do need the power to run that, plus obviously if I'm having a 2 gig of memory plus an 8 core processor, then obviously that will take up a lot of power, and you don't want a lot of you don't want it overheating too much. And obviously you've got to take into account that it goes by the amount of, if you've got more than one DVD drive, more than one hard drive, and obviously more than one fan working, then obviously you're going to need the power there to actually use it. So
right, okay. Right, so that's you finished, Dave, as far as the power supply unit is concerned?
yes, that's as far as the power supply is goes. I'm yeah, I'm kind of I can't do that
Right.
until
Okay, well stay on Skype. I'm just going to basically let me mute this microphone on Skype to see if that maybe that's why we were getting oh wait, you can't hear me. If I mute the mic you can't hear me on Skype. That might have been the reason why we're getting the feedback, the small echo. But not to worry about the echo for the video, because I can use a video editor program tomorrow to try and edit out the sound echo. Okay, so stay on Skype. I'm just going to switch over to the desktop here.
no.
So you can go ahead and close your video just if you want.
Yeah, that's no problem.